Everybody. Welcome to today's Claim Toolkit training session. For those of you that I've never met, my name is Joe Brigandy, and I'm the Director of National Technical Compliance for Sedgwick. We were very excited to announce on June 1st our partnership with Claim Toolkit, and we're really thrilled to have Claim Toolkit as our newest vendor partner that's going to assist us with compliance going forward. I know a lot of you on this call handle claims in all 50 states. I understand that it's very difficult to keep up on new issues as well as try and research old issues on 50 states. I believe that Claim Toolkit is going to become a valuable resource in helping you to answer your state-specific questions. I wanted to say Claim Toolkit is going to be a great tool in your toolkit, but that just sounded really corny, so I got away. I know we have limited time, so I'm going to turn the training session over to Elena Stein, and she'll guide you through the training session and really help you understand how to access the wealth of information that's available in the compliance tool. Elena, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that kickoff. That was perfect. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Elena Stein. I am a compliance attorney with Claim Toolkit. We are very excited to have you on board as part of our team now and our family. And we want you to know that we are here for you when you need us. So if you have any questions, any issues, please reach out to our help desk. We are always more than happy to help with any questions or issues you may have. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward with our training. Today, we're going to cover how you access your application, compliance for auto, homeowners, and commercial, so the different modules you'll have access to, navigating the application, its structure, running searches, how to run a report, our what's new, the compliance training portal, our help desk. And I know I said this a few times already, but what we're going to do for questions, we're going to have you drop any questions you have into the Q&A forum. My wonderful colleague Dawn will address any tech-specific issues you may be having. Otherwise, we'll answer any subjective or substantive questions via a Q&A document we'll provide to Sedgwick once our trainings are complete. Lastly, we're going to ask that everyone drop their email address into the Q&A form as well, so that way we can record your attendance. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to jump into your application. Your application is web-based, meaning you have a company-specific URL that has been provided to you with your ID and password on your date of rollout, which was June 1st. So essentially, you're going to open your internet browser, enter in this URL, and you'll be taken to the screen you're currently viewing right now, which is your login verification screen. In the center of the screen, you have your username and password fields. You have a checkbox directly below. This is login automatically. Essentially what it's doing, it's saving your ID and password for future use, so that way you don't have to keep re-entering them. Down below, we have a few helpful links for you. If you've forgotten your password, simply enter your username into the username field, click Forgot Username or Password, and what's going to happen is it's going to send your password directly to your email inbox. Directly below the Forgot Username or Password link is the Register link. You are all, or you should all be, current users. However, if you are not, what we've done is we provided company-specific instructions if you want to request an account. Essentially, you're going to go and contact Joe, and he will approve or disapprove any users as needed. Below Register, we have the Contact Us link. If I click here, essentially it's going to take me to a submission form. This submission form goes right to our help desk. Over to the right, we also have our help desk phone numbers and email address. It's simply info@claimtoolkit.com. We'll go ahead now and we're going to log into the application. On logging in, you will be automatically defaulted to the auto home screen, which is what you are currently viewing right now. We know we're in auto compliance because of the icon in the top left-hand corner of your screen, which is this little car. That doesn't give it away. But as we move between the different modules, that icon will change to distinguish between the different modules. Directly to the right, we have the Claim Toolkit logo. You're going to click on this logo when you want to go directly back to your module homepage. So back to the auto homepage, homeowners homepage, or commercial. To the right of this, we have the My Account link. We can click into my account when we want to change our account details. So your personal details, your contact information. If you need to change your password, you're going to look over to the tab on the right-hand side. I'm not going to click in here because I don't want to give his password away, but simply when you would click in here, you would be able to reset your password and save it for future use. We'll go ahead now, we'll hit that Claim Toolkit logo, jump on back to the auto home screen. And now we're going to jump all the way over to the right-hand side of the screen, and we're going to click on these 3 little white dashes. This is what we call the hamburger, because it looks like 2 buns and a patty. But when you click on the hamburger, what you're going to get is your Toolkit drop-down menu. Your access level will dictate the items available in this drop-down menu. So what we can see here is we have access to Compliance Auto, Compliance Commercial, and Compliance Homeowners. This is where I would go to move between the different modules. So if I want to jump into Commercial, I would simply click on Commercial. Please note in the top left-hand corner, now our icon is changed to a commercial building. If I want to go into Homeowners, I can click that hamburger again, select Homeowners. And again, our icon in the top left-hand corner has changed to represent a house. We'll go back to the hamburger and we'll move on down below to the Compliance Training portal. If we click on Compliance Training, it's going to take me to a complete separate portal all for compliance training. And essentially, everything we're going to talk about today is going to be found in this training portal. At the very top, you have a subject matter based drop-down menu. All you have to do is hover your mouse over each of the titles, and it'll give you a listing of different charts available to you that provide you more information on that topic. So let's say I want information about the home page. I can go and click on any one of these charts down below for more information. Now, if you want to view a full compliance training, you will be provided down below. If you click on the image here, this will take you to a YouTube video upload of a full overview compliance training. You also were provided this link with your initial ID and password email template that came out. If you want to search for information because you don't know which chart it may be in, you can use the search function. I would simply type in my keyword, and what's going to happen is it's going to pull a number of blue boxes here, all with charts with relevant information pertaining to the keyword that I entered. I'll simply click the blue box and it takes me right to that chart. We'll go ahead now, we'll hit that hamburger in the top right-hand corner, and we will jump back into compliance. Now, your compliance, auto, homeowners, commercial homepages are set up exactly the same way and function identically. If you want all state COVID-19 information, so basically anything COVID or everything COVID, you're going to look at this text right here in the center, this bright red text, and you're going to click on the bold and underlined text. It's going to take you to a state selection page. Here you can click on your particular state that you're looking for information for. So let's say we want Nebraska. I can click Nebraska here, and it's going to take me to my COVID-19 state information page for Nebraska. We broke up the information into variable topics, including news, auto, public health, regulatory, insurance, unemployment, and DOI directives. You can simply scroll through the chart to see all the available information here. Now we go ahead, we'll scroll back up. We'll hit that Claim Toolkit logo, jump back to the auto homepage. And then in the center of your auto homepage, you also have a 4-in-1 search, scene photo search, a weather search, and down below, reports. We have 2 different types of reports available. The first is compliance, and the second is DOI directive reports. I'm going to run these for you in a few minutes when we have more information so you better understand what information these reports are pulling. We're going to go ahead now, we're going to jump down below. What we have is our visual icon dashboard. And essentially what these icons provide you is more resources inside Claim Toolkit and outside Claim Toolkit. So let's go ahead and jump into the library, for example, which is basically this little stack of books. We'll click here. And then you can see at the top, we have a navigational toolbar. I can click anywhere in this toolbar to jump me to certain portions of this chart. You will find these toolbars on charts with lots and lots of information because we want to make sure you're getting where you need to go quickly. But for example, here in the library, I can click on the bold underlined text and it'll take me outside of Claim Toolkit, but to a helpful reference. Any websites that require an account be made or payment be made, that's something that's going to be responsibility on your end to do. Claim Toolkit does not provide account access specifically. We'll go and exit out of there. I'm going to scroll on up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about this little breadcrumb we have right here in the top left-hand corner. As you move deeper through your application, you're going to notice more breadcrumbs available to you. And essentially what these allow you to do is navigate directly back from where you came from. So right now we're looking at the auto home breadcrumb. This functions identically to the Claim Toolkit logo. It's just going to take me right back to the auto home page that we were on previously. So I'll click the breadcrumb. We've jumped on back. And now we can go ahead and move into some state specific information. So at the top, I'm going to go to my state reference drop-down menu. I'm going to click the down arrow, and I'm going to pick a state that I'd like to find some information about. Let's say California. So we are now in California. One thing to know is that all 50 states plus DC, their home pages are set up exactly the same way. They function identically. At the top, we have a subject matter-based drop-down menu, just like the compliance training portal. So simply hover your mouse over each of the titles in the drop-down menu, and you'll have a full listing of charts available to you. So here we are now in general law. We also have court procedure. We have damages. Forms. Forms will take you outside of Claim Toolkit to relevant DMV sites, to the DOI, DOT, you name it, anything that provides you helpful or useful forms. Immunity. Legal authority. The legal authority dropdown is going to be specific to the state that you are currently viewing, meaning we're linking you to the California Admin Code, the California Muni Code, the California Bulletins, the Vehicle Code for California, you name it. To the right, we have liability. Down below, we have the contact dropdown. In the first, we have the Claim Toolkit contact, but also what we have is a insurance company's contact directory. I'm going to jump in here because this seems to be a fan favorite. If we click on insurance companies, it's going to take me to this specific chart. We're going to have our navigational bar to jump to any portion of the alphabet that I'd like. And essentially what this is just a massive listing of insurance companies in the United States. In the first column, we have the company website we link you to, and the company's primary mailing address. In column 2, we have the main claim phone numbers. What we're also going to do is provide you any helpful instructions we can to help you bypass that automated system as quickly as possible. And then in column 3, we're going to tell you if they allow online internet loss reporting. If they do, we'll link you directly to that site on their website. And now what you guys are probably realizing is that anytime you're seeing bolded or underlined text, it's clickable, meaning you can dig deeper for more information. We're going to go ahead now, and we're going to use the new breadcrumb available to us to jump back to the state homepage. So now you know that as you move deeper into state information, you have the option of jumping back to the state homepage or all the way back to the auto homepage. So we'll go ahead and click California. And now we're going to continue to move through the drop downs. Next up is BI handling and PD handling. And now what these two are, these are essentially cheat sheets for what charts information you're going to want to review and be aware of for these specific types of claims you're handling. The charts available within PD handling and BI handling can also be found within general law, court procedure, damages, and so on. But we essentially had a client come to us and say, hey, can you make it as simple as possible for my adjusters to know what they need to know for BI handling? And so this was our solution to that question. Next up, our auto liability charts. We have right-of-way duties, and we have defensive driving duties. I'm going to go ahead and jump into one of these charts so we can take a look at these because these charts have a very specific setup. In auto liability, we operate in a 2-column format, which you are currently viewing right here. On the left-hand side, we're going to give you that statute or admin that you need to know. And directly to the right, we're going to provide you the exact page in the driver's manual that stipulates to that regulation. So if you have a claim and you have an insured or claimant telling you, well, there's no way I'm going to know all the statute and laws in this state, you can say that's fine. But in order to obtain your driver's license, you need to know what you need to know in your driver's manual. So we pinpoint you to the exact page, and if you click the link, it'll take you specifically to that location in the driver's manual. We'll go ahead now, and we will jump to our last dropdown, which happens to be driver's manuals. So again, this dropdown is also state specific. So meaning we're going to link you to the California bike manual, boat manual, CDL manual, auto manual, teen drivers, etc. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to hit that California breadcrumb once again, jump back to state homepage. And now we're going to jump into one of our 3-column charts. And we're going to jump into the most popular chart, which is our communication time limits chart. This is one you'll 100% learn to use and love. This is a very big chart, lots of information. So you're going to have your navigational toolbar at the top of the chart. But if we go ahead and scroll down a little bit, what you're going to notice is a different setup here as an auto liability. Here we have a 3-column format. And essentially what you have in column 1, you have exactly what you need to know in as few words as possible. In column 2, we're going to give you a more robust summary of that statute, admin, or case law. We're also going to cite you directly to the source. Now here, there's no subsections for this regulation. However, if there are subsections, we're going to 100% give that to you as well. And then in column 3, we link you to the source. So you can go ahead, click on that bolded underlined text. And here we are, we're taken right to the California regulation. So go ahead, jump out of that. And now we're going to jump back to the California homepage and we're going to move through the state homepage chart. So first up are our negligence types. So if I click on negligence type, what it's going to do is take me to a listing of the different types of liability and a definition for each of them. If we go back to the state homepage, the link directly to the right is going to tell me which type of negligence is applicable in the state I'm viewing. So essentially, this information right here is always going to be state specific. So if I click on this link, it's going to tell me pure comparative negligence is applicable in California. It's also going to give me the case law to substantiate this. And then, of course, I can click the link all the way to the right if I want to go view the case myself. So we'll go ahead. We'll hit California, jump on back, and we'll continue to move through the homepage chart. First up is our COVID-19 information. If I click view, it's essentially going to take me to that COVID all information page that we saw earlier. This is just another means of accessing that same page. We'll go back to the California homepage, and next up is running a report. So I'll go ahead and click view. And now we have our 2 options here. We have our compliance reports and we have our DOI directives reports. The compliance reports are going to pull charts and information from that subject matter based drop-down menu at the top of your screen. The DOI directive reports are going to pull charts and information from DOI directive pages. So this is a separate area we're pulling information from. Now we're going to go back in and we're going to run a report. Before I do, I'm going to point out these little blue icons you've seen probably throughout the applications thus far. If you hover over them, they're going to provide you more information. It's what we call our hover help. So if you're not sure what you're being asked here, just simply use the hover help and it'll give you more information. So to run a report, first up, I need to choose a line of business. So my options are auto, commercial, or homeowners, which is the 3 different modules you have access to. Next up is our report category. So essentially, these are the categories or the titles at the top of your subject matter based drop-down menu. So you're going to pick, let's say, general law, and then I'm going to pick a chart. And these are going to be charts listed within that drop-down menu. So let's say we want communication time limits. Next up is category. When we're talking about categories, we're talking about the individual rows of information on a chart or within a chart. This is an optional field. I can leave it set to all if I want to pull the entire chart, but if I want to hone into one specific type of information, let's say claim file documentation, I can pull just that specific row of information, and this way I can do a comparison by state just for that specific blip of information. And then lastly, we're going to pull states. I can do all states, I can do one state, or I can do a handful of states. And what you can also do is you can start typing in to pull states as well. So we'll go ahead, we'll hit search. It's going to generate a new tab for me. And what we have here is our report. And so you can see we have that specific category for each state I requested. And now as you see, a couple states that I asked for don't have that chart or that category filled in. So this would be the result you would see here. If it's filled in, you're going to go ahead and get that information. One thing I want you to note is the date and timestamp in the top left-hand corner. What's really important for you to be aware of is that on any given day, myself, the other attorneys and individuals that work with me are updating the database at least 20 times. So that's a lot of new information. We don't ever want you operating on outdated information. So if you are ever going to save or print one of these reports for reference, please go back and rerun the report at least on a weekly basis. We'll go ahead now, we'll clear that out. And now we'll move over to the DOI directive reports. I'm going to choose report type. You have two options available to you. You can do COVID-19 specific reports or DOI directive. We'll go ahead and do DOI directive. I think we've all had enough of COVID at this point, but same thing with compliance. You can either do all states or I can pick a few states. And we'll go ahead, we'll pick the fun states. These are probably warm right now. We'll hit search. And we're taken to a very similar setup as the compliance reports. You have your date and timestamp in the top left-hand corner. And then if you simply scroll, one, you're going to see the DOI pages have a lot of information. Scary, I know. But if you scroll through, you can see all the DOI directive pages pulled for those specific states I requested. We'll go ahead now. We'll jump back out of there. We'll hit our California breadcrumb. And now we'll move on down through the rest of the state homepage chart. Next up is what's new. You have what's new in the specific state you're viewing, and then what's new in all states. We'll go first into what's new in California. At the top, what you'll always have is you will have what's new in Claim Toolkit. So we're going to keep you apprised of ongoing research projects here or any other industry important information that we think you should be aware of. And then down below, we're going to tell you the effective date of the what's new, line of business impacted, and details on that what's new. So when you come in here, expect to see information on new legislation, DOI guidance, bulletins, advisories, DOI directives, you name it. Anything that we think that you should be aware of, we're going to write up a what's new and drop it on in here for you. We'll go ahead, we'll hit that California breadcrumb, and we'll jump into what's new in all states. You have a navigational toolbar at the top to jump to any portion of the alphabet. Again, what's new in Claim Toolkit. And then down below, what's new in state legislation for all states. We break it up for you by the state, the effective date, the line of business impacted, and details on the what's new. So if I go and scroll down a little bit, we can take a look at this Arkansas what's new. We're going to give you the line of business impacted. We're going to link you to the chart with that information, but I'm just going to show you quickly how these are set up. We're going to give you a summary on what that change or information is. We're going to tell you what House bill is amending what statute. And then you have a very to the point summary here at the very top. But if I want to read the information in full, I'll simply click on the bold underlined text and it's going to take me directly to that state chart. Now, our what's new is the first way we keep you apprised of new information in the database. The second way that we do this is through the amended and new legislation category. This category, if it's in use, is always at the top of the chart. If the chart has no new information, then you won't see this category. The third way we keep you apprised, well, I should have said 3, not 2. The third way we keep you apprised is with this bright orange text. So basically, anytime you see this text, it's screaming a change has recently occurred or is soon to occur. So we can go ahead now, and actually I'll tell you one more thing. This text will remain orange until at least 8 days past the effective date or until the state updates its site online for that law or regulation. So we'll go ahead now, we'll jump back to California. Next up are our DOI directive pages. So you're only going to see these pages when, and I'm going to go back real quick, you're only going to see these pages when there is an active DOI directive in effect. And one thing to note is that there will be a separate DOI directive chart for each individual event. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the event I want to view. I'll click on the button and it's going to take me to this massive DOI directive page. Again, we have our navigational bar at the top of our screen. I can do any portion of this page, but these pages are going to cover effective dates, details on the event, the counties affected, CAT adjuster requirements, claims handling guidelines, company reporting requirements, and company underwriting guidelines or guidance. And as you can see, lots of information here. So these pages are just a wealth of knowledge. We'll go ahead now. We'll hit that California breadcrumb, jump on back, and we're going to jump into the all states active emergency orders. I'll click on emergency orders. Again, you have your alphabetical toolbar at the top or navigational toolbar. One thing to note is that these are only governor issued emergency orders, meaning you're not going to see any local ones. So nothing by mayors, judges, and so forth. But we're going to break them up for you by state. We're going to give you details on the events, description of the events, the effective date, expiration date, and any company guidelines. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down now to a state that has some various ones open. Let's say California. Right now what we have available for you is a link at the top of each state to take you to that all state COVID-19 information page. So this is your third way to get there. Directly below, we will have DOI directive pages linked. So if there's a state of emergency and there's a DOI directive in play, we'll link you directly to that DOI directive page from the emergency order page. Now if I scroll down a bit farther, we have an example of state of emergency where there's no DOI directive. So we're going to give you information what the state of emergency is for. We'll link you to the proclamations, state of emergencies, etc. Effective date, expiration date, and then we're just going to tell you there's no directives issued by the DOI right now. We'll go ahead, scroll back up, hit that California breadcrumb. And now what we have is the state compliance overview. So I'm going to click view. And essentially, this is the perfect place to go if you need to catch up on information. Say you're overseeing a new territory or you're just not sure what the regulations are in a state. This is the perfect overview of essentially what you need to know for compliance purposes. And what we've done is we've pulled column 1, so those few words that you have to know for every chart that is essentially mandatory to be aware of. So negligence, minimum limits, MedPay, UM/UIM, no pay, no play, communication time limits, and so forth. So if you ever need to refresh or take a look at what's going on in a state, I would highly recommend that you come to this location. So we'll go ahead and hit that breadcrumb, jump on back. And now I did discuss already your first means of accessing and moving through information within the states, which is your subject matter based dropdown at the top. Your second means of moving between charts information is your search function. This operates exactly the same way as the training portal. So simply type in your keywords, it'll pull relevant charts for you, and you'll simply click the blue box to head to that chart. We'll jump on back. And last but not least is your third means of accessing charts information, which essentially are all these items directly below. All of these charts can be found within the subject matter based dropdown menus, but as these are our top used charts, we wanted to also provide you a shortcut to this information. So that concludes our training session. We are finishing right on the dot, perfect timing. If you have any open questions or issues, please reach out to our help desk. Also feel free to drop any questions into the Q&A forum and we will address them as needed. But we want to thank you for attending and we look very forward to partnering with you guys and we hope it's going to be great going forward. Thank you, everybody.